As things progressed in the Jeffrey Epstein case and we began to learn about the terrible things that he was doing, the group of powerful people around him continued to associate with him. When he was released from jail, he immediately threw a party in his New York apartment in which several prominent celebrities and investors showed up. You might assume that these people were just sick and knew what he was doing, but they didn't really care. But have you ever thought about how Epstein may have used his people skills to manipulate them into trusting him? Now, before we continue, I have a couple of warnings. The techniques in this video are techniques talked about in Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And though they are simple, they have a lot of power in manipulating people, so I encourage you to learn them and use them in a manner that is good for both you and the people around you. When you learn about the life of Epstein, you begin to see that his life was always about manipulating those around him. He never graduated from college, yet he lied and said that he graduated from 2 colleges on his resume so that he could get a teaching job at Dalton School in New York, which was a prestigious private school. By the time he was fired, he had made a connection with Alan Greenberg as his children went to Dalton School. And Greenberg was the chairman of Bear Stearns, one of the biggest investment banks in the world, which meant that Epstein was able to get a job at Bear Stearns soon after his teaching job ended. Management at Bear Stearns soon found out that he lied about graduating from those colleges, and they confronted him. And here is where he really stood out in his manipulation skills. Management comes in freaking out, ready to start a fight. And what would most people do? You've been caught, you either take the beating and you leave while you can with your head down, or you pick that fight that they're looking to start and you try and continue the lie, screaming right back. But Epstein, he did neither of these.
I was prepared to fire him. And this is where his sales skills really resonated. When I told him he'd lied, he admitted it immediately.
Before the boss could even begin an argument, Jeffrey cut him off and he admitted to his mistake. He said something along the lines of, "You are right and I was wrong. I was terrified I wouldn't be able to get a decent job, so I foolishly lied in hopes that you wouldn't notice, and I realize my mistake. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me." See, when people find out that you've lied to them like this, they are ready to fight. They go into that room thinking that they are about to get their power fix. They're about to get to scream at you. And when you take the situation and you immediately neutralize it and you say, you know, "I'm very sorry, you are completely right," and you give them that power that they were about to fight for, well, it kind of catches them off guard. And they think, maybe I was overreacting. Maybe, they seem pretty sorry. Maybe I should just forgive them. And that's exactly what happened. He was forgiven, and he was given a second chance. He got to keep his job.
He disarmed me. And I thought, do I want to play God and throw him in the street? Maybe destroy his potential? Today, I wish I had.
So from there, he moves up the ladder very quickly at Bear Stearns. He's said to have actually done the job well, but you can't move up that quickly just by being good at your job. So how is it possible that Epstein did this? Now, obviously, I don't have the specifics of his everyday conversation, but by using context from people who were around Epstein his whole life, we can kind of make out how he did it. With any prominent figure, Epstein took control of the conversation. He was charismatic and he expressed genuine interest in people's hobbies. And this is actually a conversation trick that is talked about a lot in How to Win Friends and Influence People. That book is a mouthful. So from now on, I'm just going to say How to Win Friends, okay? Okay, so Carnegie says you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming genuinely interested in other people than you can in 2 years by making other people interested in you. Epstein understood this very well, and he had no problem being interested in other people as long as they were rich, they were powerful, and he could help himself through them. So by the time he was fired from Bear Stearns, it didn't matter. He had made connections that allowed him to get a job at Tower Financial, a huge debt collection agency.
So I interviewed Jeffrey Epstein, and he took control of the interview. He's got a gift that's extraordinary. where he controls the people he meets and manipulates them totally with his charisma.
So there he continues to work his way up to the top, helping them with a Ponzi scheme that they were running at the time, which is fitting. And somewhere along the way, he becomes good friends with Alan Dershowitz, a famous lawyer and legal scholar. With Dershowitz, he uses another technique from How to Win Friends, which is make the other person feel important. For example, this is one thing that Epstein would do for Dershowitz.
My relationship with Jeffrey Epstein was academic and lawyer-client. But it was a close academic friendship. For example, when I would write books, I would only send them to a handful of people. He was one of them because he would seriously read every word I wrote, and he would have comments and criticism.
Now, if you take that much time out of your life for someone else's work, they're gonna feel they are so important to you and immediately feel a closer connection. Epstein knew that this would happen, and he relied on Dershowitz later when he asked him to work out his plea deal that prevented Epstein from further prosecution in regard to the questionings that he was dealing with at the time, which we all know so famously now. Both of those concepts are not nearly as powerful as the next one, though. The concept that probably gave Epstein the most power is also one of the most important ideas in How to Win Friends. Carnegie writes, if there is any one secret to success, it lies in the ability to get the other person's point of view and see things from that person's angle as well as from your own. You match the bait to the fish. You wouldn't try and catch a fish with Oreos or your favorite snack. You would try to catch a fish with its favorite snack, worms. And the same goes for people. Yet so many people turn deals into arguments as the attempt to only get what's best for themselves. When Epstein wanted something, he would think about what the other person wanted, and he would pose his own interests in a way that seemed like it was best for them, and he would seal the deal every time. For example, when he was sharing his sick interest of assaulting underage women, he would convince some of those in power around him to do it as well. Granted, it probably didn't take much to convince these people to do it because they're terribly disgusting, but that's not the point. There was more to it. Epstein had cameras everywhere, so he was able to film anybody of power, and he stored it as evidence. Now, he could do whatever he wanted to those people. He could steal money, he could ask for favors, he had them stuck in the blackest of blackmail. So from the beginning, there was more to the sick deals that he was making, and it was ultimately hugely in Epstein's favor. That was intense. If you like this video and you want me to do more content on the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, you can let me know by liking or commenting down below. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.